Markets are unpredictable, volatile, complex, but your trading journey doesn't have to be. Hola Prime TV is now live. Every trading day, join top coaches as they break down real-time setups, key levels, live trades across Forex, futures, and crypto. From Tokyo's early momentum, to London's open surge, to New York's high volatility action. We decode every move live. Get sharp analysis, clear strategies, and insights that actually make sense. And yeah, we don't just break down charts. We crack a few smiles too. Only on Hola Prime TV. This is more than content. This is infotainment and beyond.
Hello, everybody. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is the Hola Prime Market News Update. First off, we have the U.S. equity futures markets, which continued their gains in today's trading session. The S&P 500 futures gained 0.12% on the day and are currently trading at 6,769 and a quarter, with an all-time high being made in the overnight session at 6,782 half. The Nasdaq futures were a bit stronger, gaining 0.39% and currently trading at 25,127. The Dow Jones futures posted a gain of 0.22% and are trading at 46,800 even. For this evening's market news, the U.S. is facing a continued government shutdown, which could continue to delay some jobs data reports coming out tomorrow and consequently cause some possible turbulence in the futures markets. In other news, the Australian Composite and Services PMI data came out this evening at 52.4 compared to the previous readings of 52.1 and 52 respectively. For the USD futures FX pairs, we had the US dollar showing a little bit of strength actually today among the futures major currency pairs. Euro USD lost 0.16% in today's session and is currently trading at 1.177 as of this writing. CAD USD lost 0.24% and is currently trading at 0.7185. GBP USD logged a loss of 0.28% on the day and is currently trading at 1.3445. And both the Swiss franc and New Zealand dollar were flat on the day. The franc is currently trading at 1.2644 and NZD is trading at 0.5834. The Japanese yen lost 0.17% in the trading session and is currently trading at 147.3 yen to the US dollar. Cryptocurrencies. We got a little crypto update for everybody here. Cryptocurrencies were green across the board today. Bitcoin is up 2.5% and currently trading at $120,425 as of this writing, while Ethereum is up 3.34% and is currently trading at $4,476. We also have Litecoin up 0.43%, trading at 106.71. XRP is up 2.3%, trading at $3.02, and Solana is up 6%, trading at $233. For the commodities update, we have gold futures which had a small loss on the day of 0.31%, but reached as low as 3,843 per troy ounce. This is also while having touched the all-time high right at the opening bell of the U.S. equity session today. Gold futures are trading at $3,886 as of per troy ounce as of this writing. And silver futures lost 1.21% today and are currently trading at $46.78 per troy ounce after reaching as low as $45.71 and as high as $48 per troy ounce in the trading session. So a lot of volatility in the metals today. WTI crude oil futures finally broke through the 3-month support area of $61 to $62 per barrel and closed the day at $60.68 per barrel for a daily loss of 1.81%. As far as economic data on the docket for tomorrow, we have ISM Services PMI coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If at some point tonight the US government can avoid further shutdown, we might also receive average hourly earnings month over month, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate data. But as for now, they are tentative releases for the morning. Now, without further ado, it is time for our Quiet Markets live trading session with both myself and Coach Tiger. So let's get to the trading, folks.
Hey,
Hello, Coach
what's
Tiger.
going
How
on?
you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing all, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I think my lighting is a little messed up here. Let me adjust
Uh,
something real quick. Real
yeah,
quick.
coming in from
All right.
coming in from the basement today.
No, yeah, I definitely like I actually was messing around with the setup over here, and I moved all my stuff and had to put it all back, and then one thing after the other. I've got my light in a slightly different area, so I'm just trying to get this all figured out. But yeah, everything was good today. The trading session was an interesting one, up a little bit of money on the day. It was like close to $250 on the day, but a green day nonetheless. So looking to escape this week in the greens somehow, and just trade tomorrow a little bit conservatively, possibly. And yeah, that's really it.
Yep,
So yeah,
nice. Green is good on a
yeah,
crazy week like this, right?
yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
1 second
yeah.
here.
You got the nice Edward sparkle going on from
I
what is it?
yeah,
Uh,
Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah. I knew Coach Paul was a vampire. I just knew it.
Well, to be fair, my sister was obsessed with that stuff. So my mom and sister
Yeah.
were all about the Twilight stuff. But we'll try to fix this little sparkly situation here in the next minute or two. It should get better sooner than later. But
It's not. It's not.
yeah, I'm
It
probably
ain't
gonna.
bad or anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
bad.
Look at that. See, all fixed. It's all gone.
Oh, he's mortal
Kind
again.
of. Damn it. But yeah, so I'm probably just gonna be paying attention to gold tonight. If I'm being honest, I'll probably pay attention mostly to gold and maybe a little bit of Nasdaq or something. But I think gold is gonna be hogging the attention tonight. So what about you? What
Yeah.
are you still in that USD CAD trade?
Oh, let me tell you about that trade. Let me tell you about that trade.
Oh man.
Back in. Let's pop on over to my chart real quick. Let's see what. Let's see what
If I don't
came out of that.
if I don't hear that you are up like $10,000 on that, I don't want to hear it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There you go,
Nice,
right there.
nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah!
Yep.
Look at that trade.
That's partly why I didn't get much sleep because I was up acting like a scalp trader. I just kept moving it up and up. I followed this, what time of day was that? Well, it would have been, 8, 9, up into 10 o'clock this morning. I was just following these candles up and just kept moving it up through like 15-minute swings. So, I finally got out of that trade. That was definitely my trade of the month. And
Killer trade
of the
man.
quarter.
Killer trade.
Yeah. So, just kind of going in. Let me close that out real quick. Yeah, just kind of going in here. So let's see. So I trailed this up. The history of this trade, of course, it started Monday. And what is today? Today's Thursday. Okay. So I started Monday. So I getting all these alerts. I'll check them out in a minute. Initially started my stop loss out down here, wicked in right here. Really strong. It's still a really strong score. It's giving me a plus 16 on the top setups page. So, I just started trailing my stop up under here, then kind of under here at one point. And then I trailed it up under this point here. And then I think I trailed it under this point at one point. Then I trailed it up here, up under here. And then when we got into this, these last few big, good grief, all my alerts are hitting all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, whiz. So we started to go a little parabolic because I knew we had this 30-minute supply that I needed to chew through. So that's why I initially left my stop loss down under here. And then when I started to see it curling around, I think we finally made this break right here. So then I started to trail it up under here. I trailed it up under here. And then the higher we went, I just kept trailing. Trailed it there. I trailed it there. I trailed it there. And then finally, what'd I do? I think I trailed it under. Yeah, I trailed it under here. And then finally got out. I trailed it right there. Yeah, I believe I finally got out right about here. No, that's not true. Yeah, that is true. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly where I got out. So I feel like I did a pretty good job of trailing that because that was about the point I finally tried laying down. And then it went just a little bit higher and came down, and you can see the rest is history. So I'm ultimately pretty happy with that. Yeah, I could have caught another 6, 7, 8 pips, but I hit that 5K mark, man, and my gut just said, you know what? This is probably a good place to stop because I was kind of chewing through all these wicks back here further back in time. So I was up in this area at that point. So with all these 4-hour wicks, I didn't want to risk it too much more. It had already been a killer move. At one point, I was kind of eyeballing this little supply area up here, but it just went parabolic. And quite often when we get a parabolic move like this, what happens? Got to breathe at some point. There's going to be profit taken. Obviously, I was in that crowd, and it very easily could have just came all the way back down. So, I just took that big last move and said, I'm out. I'm out. So, not bad for 3 days' work on a nice swing trade. Short-term swinger. So, it definitely helped out the old challenge account that I got rolling. And it's on to the next one, man. This is a great example of, the dollar was falling against most of the currencies, but, the reason I decided to stick with this trade is because if I go take a look at the dollar real quick, obviously, aside from the government shutdown, the data's looking pretty good. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom it in. So we've had some pretty good releases lately. A good PMI release on the 1st. We had a PCE rating that went from the previous reading was bearish. It went to neutral. So that's essentially a bullish score on this as far as all the different indicators go. We had a good JOLTS job openings number. The previous number on that wasn't the greatest. So that flipped a couple points to the dollar side. And then, we obviously had the just horrible ADP jobs number that came out. Was about a 84,000 job swing from the expected 52K to minus 32. So it's a minus 84,000 when you add in, whenever you add 52 to the bottom side of that. So yeah, that was the one negative reading we got. But I mean, as far as the growth metrics, a couple of the inflation metrics goes, and even one of the jobs metrics goes, everything was pretty good outside of that ADP. So US dollar is currently sitting at 66%. So it's actually nice and strong at the moment when we're just looking at the fundamental data. And all I simply did was just compare it to Canada. Okay, Canada data. So here's the Canada's economic data. Ugly. Everything's ugly. They had one good bullish report back on the 26th for their GDP number, but that was it. Everything else missed expectations for the currency. Their stock market's a tiny bit better, but as far as the currency, I mean, that's essentially all Forex trading is matching matching a strong currency with a weak currency. So despite the government shutdown and everybody, freaking out over that, I just stuck with the hard data because the hard data told me that it's the strongest currency, and it still is. I mean, it's still a plus 16. So, but yeah, the blue boxes just simply means the U.S. dollar was favored more than the Canada dollar over all these metrics. And then there was a few neutral readings, but that's it. This is hard data 101. This is why I don't get caught up in all the news and the rhetoric and all that. So just stuck to my guns and trusted the system, and yeah, it worked. I mean, along the way, I did have a couple lucky periods where I perfectly placed my trailing stops, because at one point it did come down and missed my stop by about 1.8 pips. I was telling Coach Tony this last night.
Oh yeah.
and then it turned around and flew back the other way. And then another time it came back within 3 pipettes or 4 pipettes. So 0.4 pip, right?
Jeez.
Before turning around and going back up. So I got, full transparency. I think I did get lucky on those trail stops, but I mean, ultimately I gave it the wiggle room it needed. So, yeah, pretty happy with the performance. Pretty happy with it.
Think about it. You could say that you got lucky, but you could also say that you were just so in tune with the product that you literally, you were just like, that's how close you were, and like with your analysis of understanding where your stop should be, and you gave it just the right amount of room. So I think you should give yourself a little bit more credit there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But this is why I love the swing style trades, because you don't have to worry about all the noise that happens. I mean, this was nothing but noise this week because of the government shutdown. But I mean, I don't mind taking 1 or 2 trades, throughout the week, or a couple weeks, get a big chunk like that. I mean, it's just, I don't know, for me personally, it's just a lot simpler. I mean, obviously I enjoy the scalping. I love coming down into this action with you guys. It's fun. And I love supplying the examples, but yeah, this is where my edge is. So whenever you guys don't see me taking a ton of trades, this is why, because I'm just like a super sniper. I just sit and wait for what I see is the perfect setup, and just manage it. That's all about trade management, right? That's where all the work was done. I mean, I find out which currency's strong, which one's weak, get into the trade, but it's all about managing it, because I essentially turn into a scalper usually towards the end of a big trade like that, just looking at those small time frame swing lows and just keep moving it up. So reading the volume, reading the sizes of the candles, and ultimately, I read the size of that last couple hours worth of candles, and they were just expanded range to the upside. So, you get a big parabolic move like that, and it's got to breathe at some point. So pretty happy with it, my friend. On to the next trade setup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you will you probably continue to keep your eye on this, since it's so bullish, and maybe look if there's maybe another entry where you could. Okay, so I see you got it all marked out already. Of course you are. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less, but
I just have to delete this old news since that's all done, over with. Delete that. So what am I left with? Let's get rid of that. So I mean, obviously we, throughout that trade, we got a pretty decent support area here. Now above, this is a 4-hour chart. So if I flip it down to a 1-hour chart, I mean, if I'm looking at the parabolic move that I wrote up, and this was a 1-hour I was kind of monitoring. So if I'm looking at this thing now, I look at the 1-hour, you would think that would be a demand area right there. But the problem is the wicks on the subsequent candles came down already in touch. So there's no gap. So I can't use that as an hourly demand. Same thing rings true on a 30-minute, but right here, it looks like I do have a little bit of a 30-minute demand. So I'm actually going to wrap a rectangle around that, and I'm going to delete. Actually, let's do this. Delete this one down here since I know that the gaps are filled and it's efficient market action throughout there. 30 minutes, 15. Let's go see what a 5 looks like. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, even down to the 5 minutes, I still have a little bit of a gap right there. So that does show a little bit of a strength from this leg out candle. So, I mean, at this point, what I'll probably do is just keep an eye on the 30-minute range. So I'll just throw that out through the end of the day tomorrow. But I won't, I won't necessarily buy from the 30-minute. I'll likely just wait till it comes about 50% of the way, because that's right where that 5-minute candle is.
Yeah.
And then obviously I would use a stop loss underneath the whole thing, the whole 30-minute range, the whole 30-minute basing action. So yeah, I mean, I'll keep an eye on this. Kind of getting that little Chinese walk action, right? We're going to swing back up, drop, and then bounce again. We'll see. People call it cup and handle. I call it the Chinese walk because it seems like they kind of spread out a little more at times rather than just straight
I like it.
U-shape. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's still the strongest score. So I got all this liquidity under here from people that are trying to buy this market up. So there should be a lot of sell orders there from their stop losses. So, who knows how big this range is, but I could see a situation where, we get a little bit of a move up and then come down, catch that liquidity there, drop in. Let's see. Some price action like this is probably what I'd be looking at. So let's see. So hold on. Let me give myself a little more wiggle room here. Let's try that again. All right. Up, down, collect liquidity here. We should see some type of bounce there before dropping in like that. So get some type of a break of structure, change of character, however you want to call this, with this leg here. Just to show that the buyers are trying to step in. So that would be a good sign if we could break this high. Just using this as an example, because this is pretty much Wyckoff Theory 101. You kind of get your what they call the selling climax and your reversal pattern, and then ultimately a spring candle. Spring candle down into the demand and then shoot up from there. So that would be a pretty decent play. I could see playing out at this point. Again, still the strongest. Just because I closed my trade out doesn't mean I ain't going to try to jump back in. It just got overextended, and I knew that this was likely going to happen. So, but at this point, same as before, I have to have a discount for me to get into it. So, perhaps a discount down to the 30-minute candle, 1.3950 area, basically psychological number. Medium psychological number, and I could see myself getting right back into this thing. Probably ain't going to happen this week. Obviously, tomorrow's Friday, and I'd like to see the weekend come and go and see what this looks like on Monday, so I could potentially try to get into another multi-day setup.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I don't think you could have played this trade any more perfectly, to be quite honest. Like, it was literally the perfect. You basically had the perfect trade, and I'm right there with you. Like, with that exponential move that you had up, starting to trail like the way you did was like, I would have been doing the same exact thing. I mean, I would have been super worried about it just slamming back down, because, like you said, as soon as things start to get exponential, there can be an equal force and a force of like furious nature that comes and drags it back down before maybe testing something. And then, like you said, like you even put out that pathing scenario perfectly. Maybe you get that cup and then you drop further into the supply and to a further supply zone, a little bit cheaper to buy in. I think it's all, I mean, dude, that's a killer. That was a killer trade. And then love the analysis after to look to possibly get back in, man. That's thing of beauty.
And yeah, and the other beautiful thing about this setup, just from a high time frame, is the fact that I was buying this low on the curve. So I talk about curve analysis, and I usually, if I'm trading on a 4-hour, I'll usually do a curve analysis on a weekly chart. So basically, I just look for the more recent swing low, the more recent swing high, and I put my trend-based fib extension in there so I can map out my thirds, my quadrants there, or thirdrants. Is that a word? Thirdrants? I guess it is. So basically, the idea here is buying low on the curve in a higher time frame. So, yeah, we're definitely in the bottom third, and then obviously from the weekly, I go to my daily for my trend, and you can see it's just nothing but higher highs and higher lows. So, higher highs and higher lows, and so at that point, that's where I just step it down and look for my 4-hour demand, which actually was at the very bottom of the middle. So I guess you could technically say I diddled in the middle, but because it was such, right, because that red line marks the bottom third and middle third. So I ended up buying right here. But with such a strong bullish score that this pair's had all week, that was a chance worth taking, just because I knew that it probably wouldn't have a chance of getting down to another zone. So yeah, just everything lined up perfect. That's the power of buying and buying low on the curve and selling high on the curve, right? If you're trying to short the market. So
yeah,
there's
nothing more I would love than being in like one trade every week. I feel like, and it ends up being a trade like that. That would be amazing if that was the case. One trade a week, you just put on one trade, you give it a few days, and what do you know, $5,000 straight in your bank account. But actually, really quickly, all jokes aside, I did want to show my screen real quick. It was just a small little trade that I took just now. Well, I guess it would help if I had my screen shared, so I'll share that now. Ridiculous.
I'm gonna get caught up on these alerts that screamed at me while you're on. Let's see here.
All right. Whenever we can, I'll message them real quick. Wowzer. Yeah, so I took a short in gold, basically. My screen's not up yet, but when it is, okay, cool, sweet. I took a short in gold. I'm going to, whoa, that looks gross. Okay, here we go. Get this a little bit more situated here. So just the two yellow circles, I got short around the 3880 level, and I actually got out at the 3876 like 9 area, like right at the bottom of this hammer candle wick. The reason I got short there was because it looked like well, first of all, it looked like there was like a liquidity sweep of sorts that occurred, and I'll show it right here. So this like purple box here was like a sort of liquidity sweep where at the 3880 level, there was a lot of bids sitting and just sellers sweeped through it. And then we bounced up a little bit on lighter volume, and I just saw like us curling and the sellers were getting a little bit more aggressive. So I got in a short there, basically at the 9-period EMA, that yellow line. And there was more liquidity down at the bottom of that wick of that liquidity sweep candle in the purple box. So I just targeted that area, that 38.77 area, and I only got in with a couple of micro contracts, nothing crazy. I mean, made $38. So I can take you out to we can both get double quarter pounder meals at
Sweet.
McDonald's tonight. Yeah. I think that's how much they
Well,
cost nowadays. It's like two people you get like a large double quarter pounder meal, and you're spending $38 at McDonald's. So,
with my
man.
5K, it looks like we're going to Vegas.
I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta.
I'll get the steak later.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm getting us the McDonald's in the airport for our flight to Vegas, and then you're doing everything after that. So
There
perfect.
you go.
Man,
That's funny.
That's too.
Yeah,
that's
gold,
too
I think, is. Let's see. Yeah, neutral score of a 2 for gold. Silver is a neutral 3. So yeah, I don't really have a swing style play, but yeah, definitely going to be looking at these 5-minute charts and see what we got. Yeah, it looked like it's trying to roll down some more.
Yeah, this is looking
What we
a
got?
little bearish. Should have gotten in on 2 minis, not 2 micros. What am I doing? That would have been a beautiful trade. My goodness, 2 minis. That would have been some big time stuff right there. But it's better for me. The reason I'm sticking to the micros, especially tonight, is because number one, I want to go into Friday. I don't want to have like a volatility session tonight where gold just kills me with the volatility and I'm over positioning myself. So I'd rather just under position, play around a little bit with the micros, go into tomorrow feeling super fresh. And if we can have a nice green day tomorrow, go into the weekend feeling good. That's the goal. That's really the goal. Not to mess around in these quiet markets too much. All right. Like we gotta keep it a little civil here, especially because gold has been just absolutely wild. And I'm sure you saw also today, like what silver did. Oh my goodness. Today we were talking about in our quiet market session, like 2 days ago, how you remember silver just rocketed upwards. Now it like silver just dropped like 4% in like 2 hours or something today. And I was just like, what is going on here? It's crazy.
Yeah, the CFD was $48 down to 46. Yeah, gold 33.97 to 38.19. So yeah, pretty big spikes down. Kind of caught a little bit of a bid, but now it looks like the upside down walk on the both of them, right?
Right.
So,
right. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm waiting for this 5-minute candle to close and see if we're going to be left with a little bit of a gap. 2 candles ago, because it's a pretty efficient market through that rounding over price action above. So I don't know, might possibly get a little bit of a gap depending on how this next minute goes, and then maybe possibly a retracement to the zone right above it on a 5-minute time frame. I mean, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on here over the next 10 minutes or so.
Heck yeah.
1 minute's pretty efficient.
Well, I'm not going to trade this, obviously. I just talked about, keeping low position size and everything. And this is not a product you'd want to keep, that you'd want to play around with if you are concerned about leverage and position, high risk. NKD is started rocketing about 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. We're up, what is that, 700 points, almost 800 points in the last 45 minutes. So straight to the upside there. Wonder what happened. I wonder if there's any news or anything.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Everything says tentative.
Japanese, Japanese unemployment rate, actual of 2.6%, forecast 2.4, job application ratio. I mean, that was all at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right? So that doesn't matter. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah.
And Governor Ueda started speaking at 8:30 my time.
I
So
see.
he must be talking.
Gotcha.
He's whispering sweet nothings into the ears of all in attendance, right?
Right. Whispering sweet nothings.
And then you can see the top. That's where he said, "Oh, and by the way, it'll cost you this." So that's where the sell-off came. That little tiny sell-off. See, that's the way I read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
He put on his.
No, I agree.
He put on sweet smelling cologne. He walked into the room, had that sparkle in his eyes, whispered everything, and then they turned around and said what the bill was going to be. So there you go.
Right.
The way I see it, pretty logical to me.
I think so. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I can't believe it. I don't know what possessed me to even look at this chart. I just felt in like my inner soul, I was like, I just need to look at NKD real quick and then pull it up, and you see this. I don't know what was telling me that, but
your gut. You trust your gut.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have some quotes from Ueda. What's up with all this jargon, Will Judge? Japan's economic growth likely to moderate, then pick up as overseas economies return to growth. Tariff policy must maintain. In judging whether, let's see here. In judging, I'm just going through to see if I can find any decent quotes he put out. Scrutinize. We'll scrutinize whether baseline forecast. Blah, 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 blah. The same superlatives we see with every speaker, right? Like, hello, Captain Obvious. How are you today? Various uncertainties on Japan. U.S. economy appears to continue moderate growth, but the slowdown in job growth is becoming clearer. Has not yet seen U.S. tariff impacts spreading to Japan's overall economy. Okay, so that's a pretty decent sentence. There is no doubt. Okay. Yeah. Have not yet seen U.S. tariff impacts spreading to Japan's overall economy. All right, so that's not a bad sentence right there. No doubt. Slowdown, corporate profits, possible. A lot of possible.
Gold, short? By the way, again. I got short gold, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm already a dollar in the money per ounce, but nowadays that doesn't really mean anything because it can go away in literally a half of a second. So let's see what happens here. The liquidity is right down at the 70 level. So we want to, oh yeah, come on.
Looks like it's going to
take one off there.
Going to drop and run away from my zone. Yeah, I got a little 5-minute zone just ahead of it, but looks like you put your $50 million position on, and there it goes, right?
Right. I just got out of that. Like that was again super quick, man. That was that dropped. Yeah. I got in, and within 10 seconds, it was gone. So
gone. All right. Well, in that case, I can go ahead and retrace up to my zone, and I'll short myself. Yeah, because we got a little gap there. Silver's got the same zone, so keep an eye on silver.
I was looking at the same thing. Mm-hmm. Same here. You and I are literally two birds of a feather. I was looking at it as well. I was like, man, but which one do I want to get short? I'm like, I feel more comfortable with gold, and I just shorted gold.
Yeah. Well, paid off. Well, either one would have paid you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like.
For some reason, I'm a little bit more nervous with silver, not like for this trade, just generally speaking. Trading silver futures
Yeah.
for some reason makes me a little bit more nervous, which is why I usually stay away from it. But I'm learning out. I'm learning about it. I'm trying to muster up the uh, the fortitude to really start trading it. So
Yeah. Man, I really want to pull the trigger on an oil trade. I really, really do, but it's just got such a strong downward momentum right now. We
yeah,
dropped through a gap, so we had well, actually, it'd probably be easier if I show it on a chart. I can actually show it here in a little bit. But yeah, we dropped through a gap under a quintuple bottom.
yeah,
I'm gonna show it real quick. All right,
yeah,
back
yeah.
in.
I'm all about the crude.
Let's take a peek at what I'm stalking here. So here's oil. Now oil is giving, just for context, I believe still giving me a bullish score. Let me double check. Yeah, so +7. So oil from
really
economic, yeah, +7 from a fundamental and sentiment point of view. It's just the technical. It's just the trend is really the only thing going against it. Well, and employment change, it looks like. So yeah, I mean, clearly this would be pretty close to buying against the trend. I mean, yeah. So anyway, so just from a higher time frame context, so I was basically looking at this candle here as a daily demand way back in time. Now, in this daily demand, you see a purple box. What the heck is that? Well, that purple box represents a 4-hour gap. So there's a gap there. So my thinking on this, and then right below that, you have a 4-hour demand. So my thinking on this is, well, initially was to see how the reaction was off the 4-hour demand itself. So like I felt pretty strong it was going to cut through the gap, obviously, and close it. But now we've gotten through the bottom of the 4-hour demand and never really got like a reversal signal as far as getting in at the demand. But part of me wants to put the trade on anyway and just incorporate the daily range and just put a stop loss under here. That's part of what I'm wanting to do, because I mean I could very easily see this thing swinging back, but the momentum is just so strong down, so it's kind of keeping me gun shy, in other words. But yeah, just looking at this trade from a 4-hour time frame, I mean, it's already kind of touched the daily demand, which is the top of this orange or light yellow box. But 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. That's why I called it a quintuple bottom. And yeah, I figured it would pass through the gap. I figured that at least the 4-hour would slow it down. So I may just look for this. I'm definitely not going to buy it anytime soon, but if I can get like a little bit better of a curl around, then I may consider looking to buy it on its way out of the daily demand, somewhere in this area, and then just obviously keep my loss under the daily zone itself. So that's something I'm considering. Now, I ain't going to do it this week. Perhaps it's something we could look at next week. See if I can't maybe possibly ride that up, because it's a strong fundamental score. So, but yeah, I'm definitely not comfortable. What's that?
That's interesting to me, though. Like, the thing with the fundamental score. So, like, I've been kind of paying attention to like the fundamentals of oil, like with crude oil specifically lately. And I think there was like OPEC is looking to drill more in October or increase production.
Right.
And I think there's like there's like an anticipation of understanding. Like I think the last supply, the 10:30 a.m. Report from this week was like a little bit. There was more supply than expected, essentially. So like I'm thinking that the market's gearing up for an anticipated increase in supply, which is why I feel like in the shorter term, at least, we're looking like at least in the futures, I think there's a reason why today was the day that we broke through the like 2 month bottoming range that we had in the futures at least. And I think it's wiser that you didn't like just jump in to buy like, today when it was breaking and like with the trend and everything for sure. But yeah, I am curious to see. I mean, tomorrow, who knows? We could like bounce back up into the area where we had seen so much support previously. For futures, it was $61 to $62 a barrel. We finally settled below or broke below that and actually settled below that at $60 and like 70 cents or so. So me and James are looking to be short this down into like the mid 50s and then maybe a
Yeah.
spike back up. So, but that's assuming, Tiger, that this break that we just had below that the support area that I was just talking about on the futures, that's assuming that we broke through that, and now it's like off to the races. If we go to retest that area tomorrow and then like forcefully break through it, then all bets are off, at least for the near term. Like, we could easily just go back to $65 a barrel or something on the futures before retracing back down into previous support and all of that, and play that song and dance for another week or 2 weeks or a month or what have you. So, yeah. Oil's an interesting one right now, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That there's no way in heck I'd limit order this. Yeah, this is going to be something where, because it's such a strong down move as of whatever that is since last Friday, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to make it kind of prove itself. So yeah, this is my 1 hour chart. So break some of this structure at least, and then maybe pull back, and maybe we create a demand zone somewhere in this area. That's more along the lines of what I want to see. I'd love to see a sharp push up, break some of this stuff. So this is where my technicals are going to be important to me, because again, that's just one piece of the data, right? The inventories, obviously that was a little bit, against the grain for it. So, but here, let me redo this. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be strict on the technicals. Like to see a spike up, break some of this structure. Hell, I could come all the way up here for all I care, and then come back, see if we can't find another newly formed demand, and then take off from there. That would be my play. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you laid that out beautifully with what you just read off about it. I just want to. This one's definitely gonna have to prove itself. Maybe we form another demand somewhere in here on the way out.
Yeah, and that's a possibility for sure. I agree. Like that bullish scenario is for sure a possibility, because like I wouldn't be surprised if there is an overall, like, we were just saying, like there's that bearish trend on the technicals, but like just because there's the bearish trend doesn't mean we can't break through a support area, rise back above it, then try to consolidate back in the support area for another quick jump, and then a week later we come back down right into that support area. So like there's definitely intraday bullish. You can have intraday bullish or bearish situations unfolding. It just depends on, like you said, like how the sessions unfold in the morning and the early afternoon, I guess, on the crude futures / the CFDs. So I'm going to try. I don't trade oil too much. I don't trade crude too much. I like to analyze the market a decent bit, but I don't trade it very often anymore. And I think I need to start getting back to it. So especially because I've had a lot of good calls on crude over the last like a month, and I just never, I forget to look at it during the day because I'm looking at the ES, I'm looking at cattle, I'm looking at gold, I'm looking at I'm looking at soybeans, I'm looking at all these things. And then, crude for some reason falls to the wayside, 8 products later for some reason in my brain. But
yeah, it's definitely fighting a long-term downtrend. Oh, here we go. We did get a retracement. Okay. All right. So silver is still a ways away from the supply, but gold's in that zone, but I feel like I like the look of silver a little better as far as the strong push down. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to wait.
You want to talk
And
about
not only,
a? Oh, sorry, you go. Sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say, and I have a little bit of a gap up here inside of the
Uh,
five. So there's a one little bit of a gap, not a giant one by any means, but there's also a gap up top. So I think I'm gonna wait. I want to see price retrace up there because yeah, see gold's already went through, so that negates
yeah,
that. So I'm definitely going to be waiting on silver. See if we can't catch a
yeah.
little bit of an ask up here. What was you going to say, boss?
What I was going to say real quick was Musin. Musin, good to see you again in the chat. Thanks for coming in and hanging. No sleep. Awesome
Hey,
to see you
hey.
as always. The the IPOs, man. Yeah, you're the IPO. You're the IPO savant, or the or what's the word I'm looking for? You you love curating the IPOs, the selections. So you're very much that is funny. I actually don't pay attention to IPOs too much, to be quite honest, and it's funny because you, with mentioning like Gemini and all those at at an earlier point, like a couple weeks ago, I was actually looking into them a little bit because of you, and just in case I ran into you again here on the chat and whatnot. But yeah, no, no, not donkey, man. You're not a no, no. It's good to be interested in this kind of stuff, but definitely like the IPO game is a little bit wonky to me. Like I definitely will not participate for a long while. Like you know what? That's not true. When CoreWeave IPO'd, I did buy some CoreWeave stock actually. So that's
Core
not
week.
that's the yeah, like that's one of the exceptions to me playing around with IP. Well, you know, newly issued stuff, but yeah, it's always fun to see what you got on the list. No sleep, that's for sure. Always fun.
Yeah, I never messed around with the IPOs. I've always, I mean, they talked about them when I went to the academy, the trading academy, and I mean, I don't remember the stats, but they said that with all the hype, with all of them, like most of them open up and then they drop, and then it takes months for them to curl back around. So I don't know. I'm ignorant when it comes to IPOs,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
admit. But yeah, I mean, I've
that's a
kind of
lot.
went and looked
That's a
at.
lot.
Yeah, I went and
That's a
looked
lot
at
of
some.
them.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so I'm right. Okay, so I'm not as dumb as I sound.
No, no,
Okay,
you're
perfect.
no. You're right. Yeah, many IPOs are like uh, they get issued into the like so the secondary market's able to trade them and everything, and then like they'll maybe have like if they're hyped up, they'll have the flurry and then the quick sharp drop within I don't know a short amount of like relatively short amount of time. Let's just say a week, and then
Mhm.
and then people stop paying attention to it as much, and then once everybody stops paying attention to it as much, it starts to maybe base out or something, and then you know time goes on, a quarter or two passes, they you know business is being conducted, and then eventually you know maybe if it's a relatively good company, you know people start trickling into it, and then yeah, and then you know maybe if like CoreWeave is a good example, I think, where you know, let me look real quick at I haven't looked at the CoreWeave charts in a while, but I do have it like on my ticker list to just see what it's up or down on the day, usually on a daily basis here. But yeah, so it like when it was issued, it came out at like $38 a share. And then I bought in somewhere on like in the low 40s or like mid 40s, and it got all the way up to like 60 something bucks a share, but then it came all the way back down to its below actually its IPO price, and
Yeah.
then based out for a little while before just making an absolute tear of a run. The high was 187, which is crazy. I was out way before that. I mean, way before that I was out. So I was out like at like in the 50s somewhere in that first couple days or whatever. But yeah, it got all the way up to 187, and then we had a huge pullback from July to September, all the way down to $85 a share. So it lost $100 a share, and now it's back up to 138. So they're like a cloud platform with like scaling and support for generative AI stuff, essentially. So big AI,
Okay.
hype and all that,
I gotcha.
produces GPU. Our products include GPU compute, CPU compute, storage services, networking services, all this fancy stuff. So
Fancy schmancy. That's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm feeling any of these alerts that hit. Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, they were both on my bearish list earlier, but with Governor Ueda flapping his lips, I don't know. It's a little sketchy right now. So they actually dropped down to neutral, and I definitely don't want to be day trading this. So yeah, I'm gonna ignore those. CAD yen is actually my strongest, second strongest bearish. Actually, it's tied with New Zealand dollar for the strongest bearish signal. So New Zealand dollar, where's that at? Yeah, yeah. See, I'd be. Actually, let's look at this again. I don't think I have anything on it. Yeah, we did hit a zone here. Yeah, we didn't close below this low. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that as well. All right. Yep. Just gold and silver. That's all I care about right now.
Nice.
Okay, so there's silver. So it went through the 5 minute, and it's currently touching the 1 minute. On a 1 minute time frame, we got a gap. I haven't quite developed the trust yet on 1 minute zones like I have on obviously the higher time frames. So it's more I'm still kind of, testing it out type of thing.
Right.
Still keeping an eye. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think pretty high. What's my RSI look like? Yeah, a little bit higher high on the 5 minute. Probably don't have any interest in that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let it go. Looking like we're getting some pretty good strength. Yep, there it goes. So ignore that.
Yeah, this V shape that just occurred. Like, Tiger, I'm not kidding. Like what you were talking about with your stops in that earlier awesome trade that you had with USD CAD being lucky.
Mm-hmm.
No, that wasn't lucky. I'll tell you what was lucky. My short that I had in micro gold, where I my second short that I had, and I got another like couple bucks an ounce out of it or whatever. I think it was like another like literally $35 or something on the two micros total. I got out at 38.71 half, so 38.71.5. The low of the wick was 38.70.9. So there was about like 4 seconds of time in which you could have gotten out at my price or better, and then we completely reversed and we're back up $10 or $12 an ounce from that low. I mean, the only reason I got out where I got out at that 71 half was because we had just dove through another little block of liquidity, and as soon as we cleared that out, I just wanted to be done. I didn't know where gold was going to want to search for more orders, essentially, so I just wanted to get out, and then that just happened to be the V bottom, and now everybody's buying. So, but that was lucky. That was like, that's recognition of the order flow and understanding where with the DOM, like where the liquidity stands. But at the same time, that's also like very lucky, almost bottom ticking a target profit, like kind of ridiculous. Buyers are losing a little bit of steam here on gold, though, I must say. Little bit. Nothing that gold can't handle, though. At times, all of a sudden, buyers just jump in out of nowhere and take it up another $7 an ounce or whatever in like 1 minute. So Wouldn't be
You know,
surprised.
keeping an eye on Aussie dollar here. Bearish score of a -7. Did bounce into a 30-minute supply, which also was a 10-minute, 5-minute supply. Getting a little bit of momentum shift on the RSI. Trying to make a little bit of lower highs there. Yeah. Probably make confirmation type trade on this. Come down here and let's break a structure. See if we can find a supply in this area before ultimately selling. I'm asking a lot of it because from a higher time frame perspective, you kind of had an uptrend with the 4-hour. Now it did base into this 4-hour supply, which I was initially watching, but it just kind of went sideways. It slowed it down, it chopped through, and it finally did drop. So I'm basically, now that I have a higher context understanding that it did finally drop from the 4-hour supply, I'm trying to look for a smaller time frame pullback. And that's where I found this 30-minute. Now, the question is there a inefficiency higher up on this move? Well, let's see here. We got a gap. Okay, so efficient. So we got a little bit of a gap here. So that's supply with this gap right here. What we got here? Yeah, I'd rather have that. At least that's up around the golden zone type area. This is we are at the 50% for those that like fib trading. Oh, I guess it is the 61.8. Okay, 50, 61.8. I mean, I don't use fibs a whole lot, but sometimes if I'm in the middle, I'll pull it out and see where the fib traders are at. Yeah, I think I just want to make this like a little bit of a confirmation. I don't feel like pulling the trigger just on a limit order of this thing. So yeah, I think I'm just going to sit and eyeball this one for a while. We had RSI 1 minute, 98.
Oh, right.
1 minute time frame.
That's ridiculous.
That's freaking crazy. Of course, it rolled over pretty quick.
Right.
I'll probably just sit and watch this for a minute. I mean, if I wanted to be conservative on my break of structure, then I should probably look to do it down here under this structure. But then that would, okay. And okay, we got a psychological number as well. 0.660. Ooh, that sounds devilish. Maybe I should avoid this one. It ain't Halloween just yet. Yeah, there's my 0.66 level. Right there. 0.66. Yeah, I'm going to wait for this to roll out. Let's get a break of structure, at least under the psychological number. Down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Then I might have a little more interest in jumping into this. But as of right now, I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait. That sounds pretty.
Yeah.
That sounds like a smart thing to do.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because then I can hopefully get a new supply zone right up in here that I'd like to take advantage of. But yeah, that's all I got at the moment. Did you want to? You were just talking about on that trade?
Yeah, we can show my charts for sure. I don't have anything at the moment, but we can show my charts regardless.
Oh, okay.
Musin was talking about. Do you have insight or any insight about the sell-off that occurred at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time this morning, and how do you spot such a kind of drop? I don't believe there was any sort of fundamental news necessarily that caused it. Maybe Tiger, maybe you know of anything, but from what I remember this morning, I do have a massive headache right now, but from what I remember, there was not really anything news related that caused it.
Which
I think
market
it
is
just
he asking
simply
about?
showed gold.
Market
Gold.
in general?
There was
Oh, gold. Oh,
yes,
okay.
the gold, the $70 an ounce drop that we had essentially from the all time
Right.
high to like 38. Yeah, it was like literally almost $80 an ounce, and all I remember is that what's funny is I literally just cut gold and silver out of my brain for the morning, and I focused on live cattle and the ES, and that was the first time I had cut gold out of my brain. Yeah, I had cut it out of my brain like for it was the first time in like a week and a half, 2 weeks that I didn't look at gold in the morning, and then
Mhm.
in the intraday session starting at like roughly 9:30 a.m. or so, and then I look at it at like 10:15 a.m. and I see it just like dropped like $60 an ounce. I was like, what the heck? And then I looked at the news and everything. I didn't see anything. I honestly think it was just, I think a lot of people were long, and maybe there was some sort of like, it could have been some sort of sell off that occurred by a larger institution, which then
Mhm.
spiked a couple other algos to then maybe sell off their positions, which just kind of resulted in a tumble. And then obviously, as you can see now, uh, it got bought up pretty nicely. So,
Yeah.
fundamentally speaking, I think being long gold is still not the worst idea for most. But yeah, I don't think it was anything crazy.
I don't
Unfortunately, we've
either.
seen.
Yeah. I mean, you had the same type of move on Tuesday. So, yeah, you probably just, yeah, like you said. Oh, look at that volume spread analysis candle. So, yeah, that was pretty huge. Big red candle down here. So, yeah, that was a lot. I mean, yeah, if you scroll out on a higher time frame, you can see it's really nothing but just nothing more than just a little bit of a correction, right?
Yeah,
You had one there, you had one there, you had one here, you had a little bit one here. Yeah, just that's just the way the market moves. I mean, I don't see anything either. I mean, we didn't really get any news other than just
yeah,
everybody on the legacy media complaining about the other side shutting down the government.
right,
That's
right. My charts
that's
actually
basically it.
froze right now for some reason. The Project X API
Oh,
thing is
really?
like disconnected, and it froze for some reason. So my
Hmm.
order my uh, my order ladder is still going, and time and sales are still going, but for some reason the chart itself is all frozen. So
Oh, well,
might have to log out and then log back in
maximum
here.
overdrive. Maximum overdrive. Yeah, it looks like and gold's trying to round back down. I don't. I mean, that was the only little bit of inefficiency we had in this leg was that, like I say, that little gap, little tiny acceleration gap or fair value gap or whatever you guys want to call it. I don't really. I kind of have a hot take on the term fair value gap, Paul.
I don't even know technically, like I think I'm sure whatever analysis I do includes possibly what a fair value gap is, but I'm not going to lie, I always forget what like the that term is so widely used, but I've never put it in my own vocabulary, so I don't even. Maybe you could explain it for me, or help me
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. I mean, yeah. They call it a gap. They call it a fair value gap. But that fair value gap takes place in an inefficient spot of the market. So
Okay,
when you have a basing action like the demand and supply zones, right? That's fair value. Um,
gotcha.
that's synonymous for efficient. And then obviously you have the incline or the decline, and that's called the fair value gap when
Okay,
you have obviously the gap. But the fair value is the zone itself, in my opinion. There's not fair value in a fair value gap. That's inefficiency.
Right. Okay.
So to me, when I think of the gap, which is what people call the fair value gap, that's not fair value. That's inefficiency. It's a
Right.
little twist on the words, and to me, in my head, it just doesn't compute. That's why I call it an acceleration gap, right? Because, like you said, it's used
Okay.
so widely. It's used so widely that people just, I don't know. Again, that's my hot take. I think it's something that they call it fair value gap.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, right. I hear it like all the time. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I need to understand what a fair value gap is but yeah, you explained it. You explained it nicely. So, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Like we say though, there's like literally 10 synonyms for every style of trading or maybe like an indicator or whatever. There's like 10 different ways somebody can say the same thing, I feel like, in this industry. So whenever somebody says that, I'm like, I probably know what that is, just in a different set of words, or like,
for sure.
Like if you visually show me or whatever. But yeah.
I mean, the whole idea is
down.
Is it still messing up on you?
Yeah, it's like nothing's happening, so might have to troubleshoot a little bit.
Yeah. No, I've grown to really like the gaps because, when you have an efficient market, let's find a good example. Yeah, I mean, really anywhere in here. Yeah, when you have an efficient market, meaning you've got candles overlapping. Imagine any candle and then look 2 candles to the left. Right? Is any part of that candle touching any part of that candle 2 candles back? If so, then that particular price action is efficient. So banks and institutions, from my experience, they don't necessarily like to reverse price in those areas because it's efficient, because they're looking for the inefficiencies of the market. So in this case, obviously, they're looking for the gaps, the acceleration gap, the fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, they're looking for stuff like this right here to find the unfilled orders on the other side of it. Now, you could make the argument that you have a gap down here at the origin of this move, a tiny one, because you do, by definition, have a demand zone right here, like that. But the problem with that zone is you look to the left and you got a whole bunch of candles there. Got a whole bunch of efficiency in the market. That's a way too much time for price to be in that area to potentially leave any unfilled orders. Because you would think that that's plenty of time for everybody that wanted to get into that trade, because they see it's a fair value area. Everybody's agreeing on price. That would be plenty of time. So when it comes to the gaps I like to use, I only like to use them where a demand or a supply zone just hung out for just a little bit. 1 candles, 2 candles, maybe up to 3 candles tops. Because the idea is when price runs away, that's not enough time necessarily for everybody that maybe wanted to get into that order, got into that order. So they wait for the retracement. But they look for the inefficiencies in the market, which is the gap, to close the gap, just like we all know, close a gap. They like to close the gap, but then find the orders on the other side of it. So they wouldn't necessarily see this as a big order, a big area, because again, all that price or all that time spent there, probably got their order in. They're probably just trying to catch the next inefficiency. This is a tiny gap, but I don't think that's that big a deal. I mean, I like to see the stronger gaps, the runaway gaps. Those are the ones that really show that basing action was strong. This ain't strong to me. This price didn't even close above this more recent swing. But this one is strong because it broke over a recent swing high. So, so yeah, I mean, I'll still call it a gap because it is a gap, but I just don't claim it to be fair value gap.
Hot take of the day. Hot take of the
Yeah,
night.
I know. I know. I
I
got to
don't
be
think it's a hot.
controversial.
I don't think it's a hot take, man. I think there's logic in what you're saying for sure. I
It's
think
just a
there
play on
is.
words. All it is.
Yeah, of course.
But
What do you got? I mean, I know since we're, I know we still have 50 minutes in the session and everything, but figured I'd
mhm.
ask. What do you got planned for
Yep.
the weekend this weekend? You hanging out? You doing anything fun? Chilling?
No, I don't think I have anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I chatted with my Forex friend that lives about 10, 15 minutes away. So might hook up with him, bring my laptop, and kind of compare notes. Yeah. He's the one
Okay.
that has
Yeah.
his own firm, his own capital, but he also I need to talk more about it, but he also does some stuff with an Australian firm, like helps
Yeah.
advise
Yeah.
their clients or something like that. So I don't know. It's just an opportunity to go and actually hang out with another trader that I had no idea was right here in
Yeah.
my own backyard this whole time until, like I said, a couple weeks ago, met him through a mutual friend. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
long lost brother when you run into a trader out on the street, random place.
It really is. Like the chances I feel like are slim when you meet like a
They're very
genuine
slim.
trader, like somebody who like genuinely is trading like they're or you know is like very it's one thing for somebody to be like, oh yeah, I trade, and they're like, and you're like, what are you doing? I buy stuff on my phone and I'll like sell it later or whatever, and it's like, oh
On
well,
my
okay,
phone.
well, I mean, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, that's different
That's
than what
it.
I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, especially because, like, I mean, I've run around town here and ran into some stock traders here and there, but never Forex traders. I mean, Forex is just, oh, there's just not a whole lot of us running around town compared to stock traders or, yeah, like you said, the Robin Hood phone traders, right? I got plenty of them, or they call
yeah,
themselves
yeah,
traders.
exactly.
Kind of comical.
Oh yeah, it's
The
literally
smartphone warrior.
it's yeah. It's easy to call yourself a trader when you can download an app and start trading stocks and stuff with like 50
Yeah.
bucks. but uh, but
Yeah. But yeah, that's
different
about
types
it.
yeah.
They did close our pool down this week, but our hot tub remains open year round and it's still warm. I don't know
Nice.
why they closed it so early. So I can't enjoy my pool, but I'll be definitely going down to the hot tub. Probably Friday night, tomorrow night. Probably just go down there and chill. It's nice to go down there when it starts to get dark because you got all the lights, got the agitation. It's just perfect. We usually have a couple
Yeah,
neighbors or two that come out. It's a big community hot tub, so and it's big. It's like probably like 12-foot diameter. It's pretty big.
that's
It
crazy.
fit comfortably, 25, 30 people in there comfortably. Big circle. Yeah,
That's
it's
that's fun.
large. So it's always fun to
We
go
used
down there
to
and just meet random people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to do the same thing. In college, I stayed at like an apartment complex that had something very similar, and me and my friends would always go down there, and there'd be other people, and like just hang, talk, meet with people, and whatever. It was always a good
Mhm.
time for sure. Always a good
Yeah.
time.
And then other than that, just probably do a little more study. I've gotten to where I really like that Friday night / Saturday morning period, as far as just hopping on and trying to find something to study and learn. I'm always learning, man. Never stop learning especially when it comes to trading. There's always something that you can get better at.
Yeah,
Always.
you're a bookworm, my friend. You are just you're your own version of like a trading bookworm. You just are always seeking out the education, which is great. Obviously, it's awesome. I mean, definitely. I'm kind of like that's why, like, for example, I know you would do something similar. Is like that's why I took the Series 3 exam and whatnot and went through that, because I just was like, I know I can take this and pass it like relatively easily with my previous like expertise and whatnot and professional experience, and I just need to study the law part of it, and I should learn the law part of like the laws and regulations and all that stuff. And so I dove into that and took that. But getting into a little bit of the coding sphere for like algorithmic stuff, some of that stuff been getting into lately and all that. But so I feel you.
That's something else I'd like to possibly do. Yeah, just for the hell of it, not because I have to have it, but just because it just kind of a challenge. I like to challenge myself, right? It's always good to challenge yourself. So I never was a great test taker, so I would not be able to say it would be easy for me, but I read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, right? That's one of my all-time favorite books. Speaking of bookworm, and in there it talks about using your brain to think, meaning unless you're a contestant on Jeopardy, right? There's no sense in using your brain just to store facts, right? Because any facts that you need to have, you can read according to the book in any good book in 2 to 3 minutes. Of course, now it's look online in 2 to 3 seconds, right? This book's a little older, so when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? That's exactly where I'm at. I'm a thinker. I'm not a warehouse for facts. Because I've always like, like you grow up, I'm like, why ain't I the greatest at tests, right? I passed all my classes. I just never had like gigantic A's or anything like that. Like I passed algebra with a C minus, and I was stoked because I just never was a great test taker. So, but part of me always thought, well, is there something wrong with me? What's the matter with me? But then I read that book and I realized, oh, I'm just listening to the wrong people. Use your brain to think, and critical thinking and processing rather than storing facts. And so, that definitely put me at ease. So just back to the Series 3. Yeah, that would probably be a little bit of a challenge, but I would go into that challenge knowing that it's not that big a deal, because all that matters is brain processing power to look at patterns, read price action, look at a fundamental report or two here and there, and just go ahead.
Right. And then have a use some critical thinking to come up with a solid strategy and plan. Yeah.
It would be cool just to get a license. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing it. I'll probably be adding that to it's on my bucket list, but it's kind of one of those things I just kind of pushed off to the side for now. But,
it's not like it's nothing. A lot of stuff you need to be sponsored for. There's a lot of stuff you don't need to be sponsored for as well. But, the stuff, it's only if you are genuinely curious, and you would like to for the non-sponsored stuff. For me, it was more so just like, why haven't I done this yet? And then I just did it. And 2 weeks later, I had it done. So I was like, all right, cool. I just wanted to prove to myself. I was like, yeah.
Wow, 2 weeks. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I will, like, the thing is like I bought the entrance for the test like 4 months prior, but you only get 4 months in order to schedule your test to then take it. And I just bought it, and then I bought the test, take it, like the entrance fee, didn't schedule the exam, and I was just like, I bought it, I'm gonna do it now. Now that I bought it. Well, then like 3.5 months goes by, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I just need to schedule this and do it. And then scheduled it quickly, studied what I needed to study, got it done, and just.
How long do you think it took you to study up on it to get ready for it?
It took like 2 weeks. Yeah, the 2 weeks time.
2 weeks? Okay.
Took me. But to be fair, man, like I came from the background of literally everything that was in that book like the book that not that book, but the material that you're supposed to study for this exam. I came from the background of this test, like of 85% of this test, literally. So, so it wasn't like anything. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking or anything. The only part that I needed to really study, the only part I needed to study was the laws and regulations to make sure I had a lot of that nitty gritty stuff just implanted into my brain, and then just expel it out, when needed for the test. But because the way the Series 3 works is like there's two separate sections of it. There's the one section that is the law and regulations or whatever. That's like 35 questions, I think. And then the other section is everything else. It's all like the math related stuff and margin calculations, all these other things. So the big part of it, I didn't have to worry about at all. But that 35 question part, I was just like, I got to study all these random, like you said, like you got to study all these like just facts, and you got to store all the facts in your brain and hope you remember enough. And so that's the hardest part for me. It's just like, if somebody was to like, have a claim submitted against them by the NFA, how long do you have to respond to that claim if the claim is between $25,000 and $50,000 or whatever? And each, like, there's brackets of, money in which the claims can be and how many days you would need to respond, or there's like things like that, essentially, where I'm just like, geez Louise, I just got to memorize these things.
And I'm sure if I put my mind to it, I could do it. Cause I mean, like 15 years ago, 12, 14 years ago, I studied because I was in insurance sales for a while. So I had to study and take the test for whole life and term life insurance and all that. So, and I passed that.
Yeah.
I think I studied it for about a month or maybe 6 weeks, even something like that. And I think I passed it with like a 78% or something like that. So yeah. And I'm sure it would be a lot easier. Huh?
Got it done.
Yeah, 78.
That's all that cares.
Got it done.
Matters.
Got it done. Yeah. I think the minimum they asked was like 72 or something. And I think I had 78. So yeah, I'm sure I put my mind to it. I'd pass this too. Cause obviously this is my passion. Insurance was not my passion. It was just a way to make money.
Of course. So, yeah.
I'm sure this would be a lot better, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Musin, yeah, being a trader is boring. That is for sure. Being patient and waiting for things to set up is a bit of a skill that I think many people don't understand. Being patient is a skill. It is a training of the mind, training the mind to understand when to not, take action and when to take action. So I am looking right now at the ES, and I'm wondering if I want to be long for a move up to 67.82. I've probably been too patient on this, and I'm not even being patient, to be quite honest. I just haven't looked at it all night for the last hour and 30 minutes. And I see that it's just been in an uptrend essentially for the last hour and a half. I wonder if this is the area, the dip. I think this might be. I
see what you're saying. Yeah, a little bit of a supply overhead. You might have to fight through, but if you can clear that, hell yeah. Might have a shot at getting it.
I don't like trying to target all-time highs as my target. That's the thing. It's just like, by
the way,
target is all-time high.
Yeah, S&P is okay. So I already mentioned the dollar CAD is the strongest, but right behind it is the Dow and NASDAQ at a 13 and the S&P at 11.
Yeah,
just for context.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Forgot
That
that they
makes
did
sense.
move. I knew the Dow and NASDAQ were up there, but the S&P just jumped on there, and wow, it's all the way up there now. Crazy. It's all about the indices tomorrow. Tonight / Forex Fire / New York tomorrow.
I wonder why. I wonder why the S&P wasn't on there with the Dow and the Nasdaq as like high. Like I wonder why the S&P is a little bit down relatively. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Let me see what the difference is here. So, okay, so the banks. So on the COT report, they were a little more neutral on the S&P relative to Dow and Nasdaq. So let me go pull up the COT report real quick. And by the way, we get an updated version tomorrow. Okay, so here's what they did last week. And I think I mentioned this earlier in the week. So remember, they increased their Dow long percentage by 20%. So that was the big one. They increased S&P by 3% and then NASDAQ by 2%. Okay, so why did the S&P get a neutral score? Let me look here. Increased 8,000 longs. They decreased 41,000 shorts. They are net short on S&P. Net long. Oh, that's why, because the banks are net short still on the S&P. They're net long on the NASDAQ and net long on the Dow. So that's why. I'm not getting. So that's why the slight difference in the points.
Okay.
Apparently. Net short.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because they're 63% net short. And
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So even though they had a higher increase in net long percentage over the NASDAQ, they still remain net short. So that must be why my system has given it that neutral rating. Because yes, it was a long increase in 3%, but they're still net short. So that looks to me like the only thing. Yeah, that is literally the only difference on my map, on the top setups.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So yeah, the position traders, the longer position traders, that's not necessarily giving them a ton of a vote of confidence. Since they are still net short.
Yeah.
So yeah, about the only difference I can see on here. But nevertheless, first demand zone I see on any of them three, I'm jumping in.
Definitely.
Just a little lower, a little further down. So I definitely have to have some patience, sit on my hands. But yeah, come Monday, yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested if I can get a discount, a pullback to one of these 4-hour, 1-hour demand zones. I'm jumping on.
Heck yeah.
Jumping on. Let's see here, 4-hour. Actually need to draw up some boxes here on S&P because didn't really pay much attention to it since it was in the neutral zone for quite a while. All right. Set me an alert right there.
Oh. Excuse me. Jeez Louise.
You wiped today, huh?
Yeah, I am. Today's one of my longer days, so there was a lot going on, especially with that video stuff and everything thrown into the mix. Yeah. It was the worst day that could have happened for me.
But, yeah, I got mine done right before the stream started.
Nice.
And thanks for being my alarm clock. I do appreciate that because I could have very easily slept all the way through. I couldn't sleep this morning. I was trailing. I was doing all that trail stuffing for 2 hours, and then I laid down and I tossed and turned for like 2.5 hours. I finally got up once or twice, got some peanut butter and crackers, then finally laid down. I think I finally fell asleep around 2 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was
okay.
It was
you definitely could have used another. You could have used another like hour I messed up. That was my fault.
Well, no,
That
because
was my fault.
I have. No, I'm glad you did because literally, like, I'd overshot my runway on my alarm. I like to have at least an hour and a half before shows, just to just to
Okay.
get caught up on certain people I follow. Yeah,
Right.
update my alerts, edit my supply and demand zones as needed, that kind of stuff. So, no, that was
Yeah, of
perfect.
course. I got you. Good. Good. Don't feel too bad now. I was like,
No,
man,
not at all.
I messed up.
Not at all. That was
Uh,
perfect. Let's see here.
So I don't remember. I mean, so I obviously we'll get back to trading quickly, but favorite band, Tiger. What's your favorite band or group or
Queen,
whatever? If you had to pick.
David Bowie.
Okay, love
David Bowie.
that.
Yep.
Queen,
Yep. That
David
is
Bowie.
all time. Yeah, something
Have
about
you
that
seen?
time period. Being a chameleon of rock, being able to go in and out of all the different genres, like with like it's nothing. Like I don't know. I always just appreciated his style of music, and
Yeah,
yeah, I just love the melodies and the beats to everything. I mean, it's really all about the music, the melodies, and
right.
combining it with the lyrics. I think it's great. Heroes. I mean, having an anthem like that, a life anthem, we can be heroes. That's like one of the best. Of course, Under Pressure, that's my favorite song of all time with Queen.
That's,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
don't know. If I was stuck on a secluded island all by myself with just a radio and a CD, it just give me their greatest hits. I'm fine. That's all I need. Queen, David Bowie, great. I'll be set
Yeah, that's
for
great.
the remainder of my years eating coconuts. Right?
Right, right. Very
What about yourself?
respectable. Very respectable answer. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's always a tough one for me to answer like one band or a group. Um, but I think I just fall into my parents' roots of sorts growing up and listening to Pink Floyd a lot. So Pink
Oh,
Floyd, and
yeah.
then um,
Great choice.
yeah, and then modern, like more modern. Big fan of 21 Pilots, and then also older. And then again, roots from my mom, actually, big Dire Straits fan too. So
Oh,
very
yeah.
big fan of Dire Straits. I mean, that style of music is just out of this world to me.
Yeah,
Mr.
they'll never be,
Knopfler is a great
nothing
guitarist
will
and
ever
singer.
be. Yeah, well, to me, nothing beats the '80s. I mean, the '80s are just the best. If I had one
Yeah,
genre on a secluded island the rest of my life, it would be the '80s out of
I
any
agree.
decade. Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
right there with you. I mean, I would lose out on Pink Floyd, but I would gain so much more. I
Oh,
would gain so
yeah.
much. There would be like literally, and the funny thing about the 80s is like not only were there like really good bands that came out of like the late 70s and then like 80s, of course, but there were also so many one-hit wonders. The amount of
Yeah.
one-hit wonders that came out of the 80s was like, I feel like if you had a nickel for every one-hit wonder, you'd be a billionaire essentially. So,
Yep.
which just was fun because
Uh,
like there was a lot of people that put a lot of bands that had just one awesome song, and you know that song, and there's just a ton of those awesome songs because there's a bunch of random bands that have one awesome song, and it's just
yep.
funny.
Okay, so since you agree on the '80s, so let me ask you this: have you seen the movie Rock of Ages?
Not for a long time. It's been a long while, so it's probably
So you
been
have
like,
seen it though. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I was making sure because yeah, anybody that likes the '80s
yeah,
has got to watch that movie. That is, I mean, Yeah, it's a musical, but it's not like a cheesy musical, right? We're
Yeah,
talking 1987, circa 1987. So all the music from that period. So they obviously
that
do it in a rock version. It's freaking awesome.
yeah, that came out like I mean it's had to have been like 10 years at this point. How long has it been
Oh yeah,
since
at least no longer than that. Probably 15. Yeah.
that yeah, that's what I was originally thinking. I was like, man, I lose track of time so much and I'll like say things
2012.
I'll say things 2012. Yeah,
2012.
so
Yeah.
that totally makes sense. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So yeah, it's been a while though. I mean, I think I literally think I saw it close to when it came out, and then I've never seen it again ever. So
I
I
mean,
never even rewatched it.
Russell Brand in that movie was just perfect.
He's the best, dude. I freaking love him. Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I say, whoa, man. The mic has not been prepared. I got a link
He's
I'm going to
funny,
send
dude.
you after stream, and you got to watch it. It is the
Oh,
greatest part
dude.
of the movie.
Oh, I 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
And
He's just that dude. That
I use
guy's
that quote to
he's a
this day.
character.
I use this quote to this day, but I can't say it on stream.
Exactly. Exactly.
Back in. If
Exactly.
you have not watched Rock of Ages, go watch Rock of Ages. I promise you, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Chat, same thing. Rock of Ages.
Exactly. Watch it. Gotta watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I haven't watched in terms of like those well, any movie in relation to like music stuff is I never watched that Queen movie that was
Bohemian Rhapsody.
live. Yeah, the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
And you got to
did you
watch
see
that one
that?
too. Oh
Was it
yeah,
good?
of course.
Okay.
That's my band. And I saw it as soon as it came out. Yeah. I've
Yeah,
watched it a few
yeah.
times. It's yeah. Yep. Bohemian
That's
Rhapsody and
good.
Rock of Ages. That's everybody's homework assignment for the weekend. If you haven't seen those movies.
uh,
Back when music was great.
yeah,
Good
man.
stuff.
Well, it looks
Yep.
like gold's turning over again now. So we got gold making a little bit of a run back down to where I had previously gotten out. We are at 38.74 on the futures. Um, very
Yeah.
interested. Very.
Sheesh. Yeah. I mean that little tiny 1 minute supply candle I drew up on silver. I mean, it wicked through it, but must have slowed it down somewhat because yeah, it's rolling back over. I mean, it was also a little bit of a trend line, triple top trend line that it got close to. If you're just looking at just the technical part of it,
Yeah.
I just feel like that's where the volume died, though. So I don't want to say it was from that 1 minute supply because the volume pretty well dried up right there.
Yeah.
When
Yeah. And I do see, if I use this rectangle here, right here. So these candles right there at the top of those candles, anywhere between 38.82 half and 38.83 half, there were a ton of aggressive buyers trying to pierce through that area. And as they tried and tried, they failed and failed. But my thought is, especially with gold, is sure, there were a ton of buyers up there and they technically could be trapped. But a lot of the times, like I've seen gold do that plenty of times and then retrace a little bit to only just blast through that area, and all the longs are not actually trapped. So kind of tough to read gold in that manner with the order flow. But all my stuff is freezing right now. What the heck? Okay.
yeah, it's definitely not as simple of a look at these two assets as normal, just because obviously all-time highs, sharp drop during the London-New York overlap, modest rebound, slow move back down, sharp move up, and now we're getting lazy because of lack of volume. So it's like, up, down, sideways. Where the hell am I going? And neutral scores on the top setup. So it's like, flip a coin. We don't do that, traders. We don't flip around here.
We don't flip them.
At the end of the day, when you got setups like this, you take your hands and you just sit on them, just like this. Unless you have a clear-cut reason to buy or sell, that's it. Go look at another market.
We don't need to be giving money away when we don't have to, So best to sit on the hand.
And the other thing, and Paul, the other thing is, with me having a $5,000 day, I don't want to go out and overtrade. I don't want to go out and just assume I'm king ding-a-ling, because that's gotten me into trouble many times. I'll have a really good trade, a really good trading week, and then I'll come out the next day or the next week and just, maybe cut some corners or skip some of my rules, right? I'll just rely solely on my zones and not pay attention to the volume and the confirmations and things of that nature. The last 2 good weeks I had, that's exactly what I did the week after. I came out and I just fell flat on my face.
Yeah.
So next week, I'm going to be super strict, because obviously this is my best week of the year. Be quite honest, my best week of the year. So my challenge to myself is to not let it go to my head next week when I come back in on Monday, and stick to every single one of my rules, just like I did this week, just like I did the last couple really good weeks, and then get the consistency going. So I'm giving myself a reputation to uphold to everybody watching. So there we go.
Exactly.
Keep me accountable.
You will be be disciplined. I already know you are already, man. And you just, that was a huge trade though. That was an awesome trade. And I think everybody knows that you're going to be just fine next week, and it's going to be good. Yeah. It's going to be a great week. So I do have something funny. I have something funny to show you here. The production crew made this for me, for everybody's enjoyment, I guess, with some AI here.
Uh-oh.
Isn't that awesome, man? Isn't that so freaking awesome?
No,
I can't get over it.
The only thing that would have made it better is if you had a little blurb coming up from the cow that says "moo."
Yeah. Dude, I'm like, man, I might like this better than any picture that I've ever taken of myself. I think AI might have just made the best picture possible of me.
But it's pretty scary what AI is doing. Yeah.
I need to get this whole outfit. I need to get this entire outfit. Man, but awesome.
Yeah, AI can help you with that too. You just post that picture on AI and be like, yo, what stores can I find these clothes? It'll tell you.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
AI, man. If you can think it, it can do it. I used AI, the image generator, which is, I'm assuming, the same thing they used for that. Because I have my own trading channel on YouTube that I started well before Hola Prime. And I would just use the image generator to create my my background photos or my cover photos. Just incorporating the date and I do like a theme, if whatever the weather was outside or the geopolitical news of the day or the economic report of the day or whatever, and just come up with a creative way for it to build a picture around that. And it's pretty freaking crazy what it can do. So no, I'm a big believer in that. technology.
I need to get better with this stuff, man. I know I just need to get better with it. I don't not too savvy with the AI, so I need to get better with that for sure. Undoubtedly, there's just so
Yeah.
much AI now. Like, there's so many different things that specialize in different things, and I don't know even close to a quarter of what exists, to be quite honest. Like, which a like I guess which engines are best for which and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like a whole like degree you have to get in order to. I feel like I feel old. That's what I feel when I think about AI. I feel like somebody in like 1991 thinking about the internet and being like, I'll just get a book. It's fine. Like, I don't need to worry about the internet. That's kind of the way that I
Yeah.
feel like that. I'm just old,
Well, the
maybe.
best one place you can start is go to Coursera. Just go to like Coursera.org, and it's like an
Yeah.
online way to go and get certifications and degrees for anything. But I do know that they have a lot of AI stuff on there. Coursera,
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Coursera. But yeah, they got all
Yeah.
kinds of AI stuff on there because I was even considering doing that for that reason.
Right.
Because I know the basics of AI, but I don't know squat compared to probably your average 12, 13-year-old that's out there.
Isn't that scary too? Isn't
Yes.
that scary, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw like a video. I saw a video of I don't even know who the people were, but there was like a kid and there was like two adults, and the adults asked the kid what's his favorite cartoon, and the kid didn't know what a cartoon was. He
Oh
just
my
was like, "Are you
gosh.
talking about like?" He's like, "Are you talking about like YouTube?" And that kills me. That kills me.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. Well, I just didn't think that was even a thing. Like, I didn't, and the kid was like, "What do you?" And then he's like, "Yeah, cartoons, like Tom and Jerry, whatever." And he's like, he said like something. He said something like, "You mean like ads on YouTube or something?" Or it's just like, oh my dude, this kid's like 9 years
Yeah,
old, like 8 years
we're
old.
getting
Like,
we're getting irrelevant.
yeah,
We're
wild,
dinosaurs.
wild.
Yeah, I was looking at Bitcoin, but I need a discount on it too. I need a discount on everything.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything I want to jump into. Bitcoin.
me either. I'm assuming the score on Bitcoin is relatively bullish, I would think, right?
Yeah, it's actually a +9. It's a very bullish 9, actually.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
makes
it's looking
sense.
pretty darn good right now. I mean, as far as demand zones go, perhaps. I might keep. The latter part of the New York session left behind a 5-minute zone. I might keep an eye on, but it's still a ways away. A little bit of a ways away on it. I'm gonna put an alert on it just in case I like what happens when it gets there. Let's see here.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm talking down at 118,931. So it's still a ways away. But and another one formed at the early part of the Asian session today. A pretty decent looking one, but not a whole lot of volume. The whole Asian session zones overall are just not necessarily my favorite. Now, maybe that'll be a little different on Bitcoin and gold and silver, but
right.
yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, I guess. So I'm going to move my alert up to that one. So that would be an alert right at about 119,720, which we're not too far away because we had a pretty nice spike up off of that. Pretty decent spike up. Pretty high momentum push. we are getting lazy about returning to the zone. I like that. So that means there's not an overwhelming amount of selling pressure. So I could see, okay, yeah. So I could see that possibly giving me a few points or pips or ticks or however you classify Bitcoin. What is it? Points? Ticks?
No, no,
Pips?
I would say points, ticks, pips. I don't know. I'd say I would honestly say it's technically dollars, right? So I don't
Dollars,
know.
actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, in that case,
yeah.
drop about $600 then. There we go. Yeah. Ethereum got our little Chinese wok. Well, that looks more like an actual cup. Could we get a handle out of that? Might keep an eye on that one too.
I can't believe
Well, we
Bitcoin
didn't.
reached 122,000 at 3 p.m. Eastern today. I'm like just I'm kind of baffled that we were able to get up there so quickly. I mean, I shouldn't be baffled. I mean, it's a volatile asset, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's only 4 grand away from the all-time high. So on the futures, so I feel like we're
Yeah.
just inevitably going to get there within the next, assuming nothing crazy happens over the weekend. I would say in the next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we at least tapped it. Now that we've
Yeah.
gotten out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
there's that huge distribution of volume that was around the 118 area that we just plowed through, and just feels pretty bullish. Like we're gonna test the all-time high at some point relatively soon.
Hell, we may be there before. We may be there over the weekend.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Like it
Yeah.
100% could happen. Like
Quite
all it has to
possible.
do is average like $1,500 tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're there,
Yeah.
which is
What's the ATR
no
on it?
issue.
Is that right? Oh, so the ATR is $2,415.
See, that's exactly. There you go. That hits it right on the head.
Dang. Yep, sure does. What is all right? So okay, so it's what 11 p.m. basically Thursday night. So we got to pick a time that it's going to hit the all-time high. So I'm going to say Friday, Saturday at the exact same time, 48 hours from now. What do you think?
Oh, man,
What's your guess?
dang you, man. I think you're close. I think you might be right on the money. Uh,
I'm writing it down. I'm
is
writing it down.
is is this like The Price is Right, where if I just guess 1 minute after you, I'm technically closer or whatever?
That works.
No,
I'm
I'm
picking
kidding. I'm
11
kidding.
o'clock p.m.
I'm gonna
EST. I'll
say,
even use your time period, your time zone.
yeah, yeah. All right. I'll say, let me go with, dang. I'm gonna go with Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll give it an extra 12 hours.
EST.
Which is probably foolish
All
of
right.
me. It's probably going to be like a 129 on Saturday at your time.
All right. I wrote it down. So we will revisit this. In fact, I'm going to set an alert at the all-time
That'll be fun.
high. Yeah. We'll see what we got. We'll just set it through the week. Yeah, through next week. All right. So we now have our alert set. So whenever it hits the all-time high, it'll scream at me, and I'll further put in my notes on it. Who wins, Tiger or Paul?
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
What else are we gonna guess on here? I want to just start guessing a bunch of things now. I want to make this a. What's crude gonna be in a week? $55 a barrel.
What's gold getting?
Actually, you say you are. Dang it! I can't remember your MLB team. You're not a Royals fan, right? You're not like a Royals fan or anything like that. Oh, you are a Royals fan. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say that would make the most sense, but I don't know why I did thought that I was full of myself and you had a different team or something. But
well, that's the Titans
you
on the
guys
football
aren't.
side of things. That's where
Yeah,
Weirdo.
that's what it was. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. But my Phillies are in the playoffs, and we're going to be facing off against the Dodgers. And Daryl's a Dodgers fan, so
oh boy,
that's a
got
big
some
one.
side bets going.
No, I told him. What's funny is like I'm a Phillies fan and everything, but I will say, like, obviously I want the Phillies to win. But if the Phillies were to lose, I am such a big Shohei Ohtani fan that I wouldn't mind watching him. I wouldn't mind that at all. Like, watching
go
them
for the
go
repeat.
on, so yeah. Just Shohei's just like what insane.
He's incredible. Like, are they gonna allow him to pitch full time next year? I wonder, because
I don't know.
He needs to. Oh,
yeah.
Or maybe just
I want him to be doing. I want him to be pitching full time and hitting full time for the sake of like knowing what he can do. No limits, and if he's able to stay, like if he could stay healthy doing all that. Like, what are those stats going to look like? I mean, it would just be, there would be nothing like it. I mean, people thought Babe Ruth was like, the man for being like, what he was. It's just like Shohei's like the way
and he was a pitcher
better
too.
version.
Yeah.
That's
Babe
what I
Ruth,
mean. Like,
the first couple years of his career, and he was a really good pitcher too. I was looking at his stats recently, and pretty dang good pitcher. That's back when they didn't even need bullpen pitchers. Their pitchers just pitched all 9 innings every time, almost.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you look at like pitchers, like dual threat pitcher hitters, it's like it just doesn't exist essentially. I mean, it just doesn't exist. So Shohei is just literally a specimen, an absolute freak of nature. I don't know how anybody could not be a fan. Like, how could you not be a fan of that guy? It doesn't even matter what team you root for. It's just like everybody should love that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, smiling all the time, having fun with his little windshield wipers when he hits his home runs. It's comical.
So
comical
great,
stuff. But well, we got a minute and a half left, man. What are you looking at tomorrow? You guys, what are you guys gonna be looking at tomorrow on the futures?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm definitely gonna be. I'm gonna be focused on my live cattle. Got to be trading my live cattle, and then the ES. But I think I'm not gonna make the mistake of putting gold to the side. I'm going to keep an eye on gold. So it's going to be live cattle, ES, and gold for me tomorrow.
All right.
And I'm going to set a reminder for myself to just check out around 9:30, 9:35, check out crude oil. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I just need to put that in my brain. I need to not look at soybeans and just look at crude oil. Like, I haven't made a soybeans trade in like 2 weeks. Chill. It's like I'm not going to make one probably anytime soon. So just look at oil. There's some opportunity there possibly. So yeah,
you need to take
your
cattle AI picture that back end made and be posting it all over all your social media. That'd be a good one to post.
I have it as my profile picture on my like Coach Paul YouTube page. So it became the profile picture immediately. So,
I gotta look for
but
that.
all right.
Was that
Well,
Coach Paul?
that being said, thanks everybody for joining us for the quiet market session. It
Appreciate
was
it.
pretty
Yep.
good. Pretty nice. And Tiger, I will catch you sooner than later. I'm sure I'll talk to you next week sometime. I don't think I'll see you tomorrow, but I'll talk to you next week. And have a great weekend. Obviously, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody soon.
All right. Stay safe, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
See ya.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.